Oh, so y'all thought y'all were gonna send your little assassino to come from California and get Trump? Well, he's building the ballroom. And now Lindsey Graham has just introduced a bill to have the ballroom fast tracked with a $400 million budget.
And there you have it. Republicans are now saying the quiet part out loud. They are calling for $400 million of taxpayer money to build Donald Trump's ballroom after what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Don't believe me? Take a look for yourself.
We're going to introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to be spent to secure to build the presidential ballroom. Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex, and we've paid for it by offsetting it with custom fees. But the estimate is $332 million. We're going to do $400 million because I think it's probably going to take more.
MAGA's priority isn't ending endless wars, it isn't releasing the Epstein files, it isn't expanding healthcare access for Americans, building bridges, tunnels, hospitals, making education more affordable, making childcare affordable, bringing down the price of groceries or gas. Their priority is working on this ballroom, and you'll be the ones paying for it.
We have some news right now. While everyone is talking about the White House ballroom and the Correspondents' Dinner, Donald Trump and his administration quietly fired every single member of the United States National Science Board in a move that experts say could decimate America's scientific research for years to come. Yes, that's real, and it happened over the past several days, and while it's being very underreported. Trump's administration fired all 22 members of the board. This board is required to set policy for the government-funded National Science Agency. The members of the board typically get 6-year terms on the board, and all of them were just fired en masse, and not a single one was given an explanation for why they were fired, according to the Washington Post. One of the board members told The Hill that they were working on a new 80-page report when they were abruptly fired with absolutely no explanation. And now many scientists and experts are saying by doing this, the president is actively degrading America's scientific research capabilities for years to come. Spread the word. Follow along to stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I'll have another update for you very soon.
So Trump went and destroyed the entire East Wing of the White House illegally, started building the ballroom illegally, and now he wants it funded by the taxpayers, as Lindsey Graham has introduced legislation that they will vote on to fund and build Trump's big, beautiful ballroom for $400 million of our taxpayer money. Yeah, doing this, it won't be funded by private investors anymore, which is also questionable, and because of the emoluments clause and bribery concerns and things like that. So now we are going to flip the bill if they pass this. So hopefully this doesn't happen, but regardless, the National Trust for Historic Preservation has said they are going to continue pursuing their lawsuit against the ballroom. Trump demanded they drop their lawsuit after the attempted assassination this weekend, and they are saying no, they are standing firm and are going to continue fighting this. This new ballroom is massive and is much larger than the White House. It does not fit in with everything else there, and they do not want it done the way Trump has it planned. So we'll see what happens here, guys. Keep checking back for updates, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Their main priority is the ballroom. They cannot stop talking about the ballroom. Lindsey Graham, because of course it's Lindsey Graham, says that the Republicans are going to introduce legislation to authorize $400 million of taxpayer money to be spent on building the ballroom. He said, quote, "We pay for it by offsetting it with customs fees. The sooner we get the ballroom built, the better it is for the country." Well, hold on, Lindsey. I was told 2 months ago by Donald Trump that the ballroom was fully paid for by American patriot donors, zero cost to our United States taxpayers. And now Republicans want us, the American people, to foot the bill for the ballroom? Who could have possibly seen this coming? So we can't have health care, we can't fund our schools, we can't build roads and bridges or anything like that. We can't have money for that. But when it comes to building Donald Trump's ballroom, Lindsey Graham and the Republicans are right there. They will do it the second he demands it, and they're introducing this bill. It is absolutely pathetic that these are the people that represent us in Congress. Pathetic.
This is one of the most controversial stories right now.
It would actually be a beautiful addition. It's going to cost nothing. I'll spend the whole thing myself. We'll do a big beautiful room, but we could use it at the White House. It will be totally tax-free. Not one penny of tax will be donated to the.
Just over a year ago, Donald Trump said he would personally pay to build a new ballroom at the White House, not a single dollar from taxpayers. But now it's starting to look like a lie.
If you don't think $400 million of taxpayer money is a good investment to create a secure facility at the White House where the President of the United States, the Vice President, the Cabinet, and people from the public can come and,
Republican senators, including Lindsey Graham, are pushing a $400 million federal bill to fund that exact project, along with underground military infrastructure, citing security concerns after a recent incident at an event Trump attended. You have to understand this. This isn't just about constructing a building. This is about deception. When something starts as, I'll pay for it, and then turns into the government will handle it, that's not a small shift. That's a completely different reality. And if the public can be misled like this, then any project labeled privately funded could ultimately end up coming out of taxpayers' pockets. Now, to be fair, some argue that the security risks are real and that upgrading infrastructure, even with public money, is necessary to protect national leaders. So I have to ask, since when did national security become a reason to mislead the public, and who gets to decide that?
we're going to introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to be spent to secure to build the presidential ballroom.
Wait. Hold on. I need you to see something.
Will be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world. So we did this no charge to the taxpayer whatsoever. This was all donations made by friends of mine and people that love our country.
They told you to your face it was free. Now they want $400 million, and they're mad that it's even a question. The same party that tells you there's no money for healthcare just asked you to fund a fucking ballroom.
The military is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well. So we're ahead of schedule, that's part of it. And the ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military, including from drones and including from any other thing.
Judge tells Trump that he can't build his ballroom off of the White House unless there's a security reason for why he needs it. Trump decides that he's going to attend the White House Correspondents' Center for the first time ever in his presidency. KKK Caroline gives an interview saying shots will be fired at the event. At the event, they admit that there's less security than is typical for this high caliber of event for the type of people who are going to be there. After shots are fired, Trump immediately gives a speech saying this is why we need the ballroom. And today, the Department of Justice is saying that all lawsuits against Trump for this ballroom need to be dropped because it's clear after the shooting that we need the ballroom. Interesting.
Well, it looks like all of the MAGA influencers got their marching orders last night because after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, every single one of them at the same time came out and started talking about how this means we need to build the ballroom at the White House. It needs to happen. Look at this. You even have members of Congress getting involved in it, all at the same time, the same message. Donald Trump even went on social media today. The first message he put out today, the first message about the shooting today, was him talking about the need to build the ballroom. It is so weird how the online reaction from the right to this shooting is, oh, well, we need to build the ballroom. That's what this means. It doesn't mean, oh, maybe there needs to be more gun control or more regulation or a conversation about security. No. They have to build the ballroom. You can let me know in the comments what you think about this and the reaction online from the MAGA Republicans. I just think it's so weird. So weird.
How stupid do they think we are? Because as Trump said himself, the uneducated love him. But those of us on the left are not only highly educated, we are excellent with discernment and critical thinking. So when we see that come up on his Truth Social and his many mentions of how important the ballroom was for safety last night during his press conference, we can see right through everything, just as we could in Butler, Pennsylvania. For anyone with kids, say, under the age of 10, you know what it feels like to be lied to by a small child. And this administration reminds me of that day in and day out. They say the most asinine things, thinking that we're just going to accept it and believe it as truth. And in a millisecond flat, we know that it's fake. And it's so insidious because this is our country. This is our country.
The New York Times dropped a blockbuster story today about more grifting in the Trump administration. So just yesterday, Donald Trump was on social media taking full credit for funding the repair of the Lafayette Park fountains in D.C. Meanwhile, the government's own documents tell a completely different story. Donald Trump didn't fund their repair, we did. And once again, as we have with so many government contracts under the Trump administration, we vastly overpaid for it. So what is going on here? The Times obtained internal government documents showing that the National Park Service secretly awarded an $11.9 million no-bid contract to repair those two fountains, a contract that was never posted in public spending databases the way federal law required. By the time it was done, the price had climbed to $17.4 million, and the original estimate to repair these fountains, by the way, $3.3 million. Now, the contract went to Clark Construction, the same Maryland company Trump chose to build his White House ballroom. Trump, by the way, has publicly claimed that Clark offered to build the ballroom for free. But the White House won't confirm it, and the Times actually has a source saying that Clark is being paid. But here's what we do know. The same company building that ballroom just got a secret, taxpayer-funded, no-bid contract that came in $14 million over the original estimate. And how did it get so high? A few ways. First, the Park Service counted inflation twice back-to-back. Then they added a 50% schedule compression factor, a flat fee for working fast that contracting experts say they've never seen before. The consultant who did the original estimate for the fountains told the Times they just took the cover page of my estimate and just added a bunch of money onto it. Then, to justify skipping competitive bidding entirely, the government invoked an urgency exemption, one that exists for emergencies like wars and natural disasters, because they wanted the fountains ready for the 4th of July? One contracting law professor the Times spoke to was basically like, that's not a thing. He said self-imposed deadlines aren't urgency. Kicker, the Park Service was repairing fountains at 8 other locations in D.C. at the same time. All 8 went through normal bidding. All 8 cost less. Industry experts told the Times that the Lafayette Park fountains are actually among the easiest to fix in the entire city. Y'all, this isn't complicated. A company building the president's ballroom got a secret, inflated, no-bid government contract that we, the taxpayers, are paying through the nose for. And then the president went on social media and took personal credit for paying for it. It's just more grift and more lies and more literal waste, fraud, and abuse from this corrupt administration. Meanwhile, working Americans grow poorer by the day. It's a huge scandal. And never forget, your tax dollars are supposed to help you, not somebody lining their pockets off of a government lie.
How have we not realized the most recent attempt on President Trump is the exact reason the White House needs a ballroom? The hotel where these shots went off is the same hotel that Ronald Reagan got shot in. Construction for a White House ballroom should have started 45 years ago. What are we doing? Cole Thomas, who refers to himself as the friendly federal assassin, decided to arm himself with a handgun and a shotgun and run into the dinner where President Trump and his officials were, with the goal to take him and the rest of the administration out. Really, nigga? Obviously, the friendly federal assassin didn't make it too far. He didn't even get past the first wave of security before he just started shooting. What was the plan? He caught one service member in a bulletproof vest, but other than that, everybody was okay. Trump safely vacated the premises. However, things like this simply shouldn't happen. Obviously not. Luckily for us, President Trump is making sure this isn't happening not only for him, but for the rest of the presidents of the United States after this ballroom is constructed. Trump is on it. At no cost to taxpayers, by the way. The entirety of the construction is being funded by Donald Trump and other private investors. Big bang. If we already had the ballroom, this wouldn't even be an issue. A random 31-year-old poses no threat to the fences of the White House. Keep it up, Donald Trump. Ow!
Why are there people surprised that Donald Trump's solution to what happened on Saturday night is a ballroom? Because when has the Trump administration ever truly given a real solution for a real problem? Like, I think it's time that we stop being surprised that the Trump administration does nothing but enrich their donors and themselves as a solution to something that is actively a problem in the United States of America. For example, they love to say that there's so many people sick in the United States of America, but instead of properly funding healthcare programs that would reduce people being sick and allow them to have proper healthcare needs met, they decided to cut healthcare funding. They've also done the same thing when it comes to gun violence and mass shootings in the United States of America. So I think it's time that we stop acting surprised when they give these terrible solutions to problems. Instead, you need to be focusing on the midterms and voting in people who are going to give you real solutions to things that are wrong in the United States of America.
This man got in front of a camera after having another attempt on his life, looked into the camera to the entire world and said that tonight's events is a reason why we need to have a ballroom. Why? Why do we have to live in this fucking timeline?